Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to implement upload functionality in our backdoor and listener as well. And we're doing this because it's fairly easy to do right now, because now we have our save file and we have our get file contents methods in here. And since we are doing this upload thing with these two methods, we can use the exact same methods with the upload functionality as well, right? So we are getting the contents and sending it to the other computer, and we are saving that contents as file. So I'm going to write save file method in here, so that when we get the contents in the Windows machine this time, then I can save it. Remember, we have to give path and content as input. Later on, we're going to use the with keyword with open, and we're going to open the path and open it as a write binary mode. Then we're going to save this as my file, and within this coding block, we're going to say my file dot write. Remember, we have to say dot write, and we're going to write the contents in here with base64 decoding. So b64 decode and contents, because we're going to use the same thing in the other Kali Linux computer as well. We're going to just send this as b64 encoded. Then I'm going to say return download OK. So I have written the exact same thing. Maybe you can copy and paste if you want. Later on, we want to just say get content file in here, because we're going to write the exact same method in here as well. This time we don't need content, we only need path, because we're getting the content in these methods. So I'm going to say with open, and we're going to open the path, and we're going to open the path with the mode of read binary, not write, because we are reading the contents. And we're going to save this as my file again, and I'm going to return this thing. I'm going to say return my file dot read, okay, base64 dot b64 encode. Then I'm going to say my file dot read. Because why? Because we need to make sure that it encodes the thing properly, so that we don't have any problem with special characters and all. So we have the save file method, we have the get file content method, we are writing what we get from the Windows, and we are sending what we get from the Kali Linux to the Windows here. Of course, we're gonna have to control if our command input is upload this time. But I'm going to control it, check it, before we send the message, okay? And we never did this before, and I'm going to show you why I'm doing this in this way. So I'm going to check if command input 0, okay, the first index of our command input list is actually the upload. So if the user tries to upload something, then I need to do something. What do I need to do? I need to create a file content variable, because we need to send the content now. So I'm going to create this my file content variable, and of course I'm going to get it from self.getFileContent method. And where do we get path? We're getting path from command input first. Why are we doing this? Because user will say something like upload metallica.jpg, and the upload will be the 0 index of command input, and metallica.jpg will be the command input index 1. Okay, so let me write this down, upload metallica.jpg. So this will be the first index and second index, and we need a third element here as well. And the third element will be the content itself this time. So even though our user says upload metallica.jpg, we need to send the content with the comment this time. So that's why I'm doing this before I'm sending the command input. Okay? So how do we do this? We are just going to append this to our command input list. Not here, of course, command input dot append. Remember, we append something to the list in order to add some element to a list. So if you say command input dot append my file content, it will be upload metallica.jpg and the content of this metallica.jpg, and it will send this to the Windows machine and get the command output from the Windows machine later on. So this is the first time we are adding something to the user input, so that's why I'm doing this before I'm sending this to the Windows machine. And in the Windows machine, of course, I want to check to see if the command of the user is upload. So I'm going to add another elif in here and say command the 0 index is actually the upload, and if it is upload, I'm going to say command output of that command will be self.savefile. Okay, so this method self.savefile, and this will return something like download. Okay, and this will be sent to Kali Linux, and in here the path will be command 1 as usual, and this time we're going to have command 2 as well as content. Remember, save file asks us path and content, and we are sending it to the Windows machine. So let me delete this and try to send the metallica.jpg again, and let me go to my listener here and save this one more time in order to make sure, and try to just run my listener. And let's go back to our sockets and run this one more time, and let me try to see the metallica.jpg. Yeah, we don't see it because it doesn't exist. So let me say upload metallica.jpg. Remember, metallica.jpg is in the same folder as my listener. So it says download. Okay, maybe you can change this to be upload. Okay, and here we see the metallica.jpg. So we managed to implement the upload functionality pretty easy, because we have just used the exact same methods with download functionality. So let's stop here, and within the next lecture we're going to focus on handling errors and then finish our backdoor.